Hello, it's Doris with Aldi Books, and it's been a while. I actually did film a video a couple weeks ago, but I deleted all of the little clips because I just felt like I was complaining, and that's not how I felt on the inside. It's just how it came out on the outside. I have nothing to complain about. Life is great. Life is awesome. I'm just a little busy right now with work, which I'm also not complaining about. I really love my job so much. And that's a good feeling. It's such a good feeling because that has not always been the case in my career. But right now, if you're not aware, I work at a private boarding school in China. Yeah, I'm an ELL coordinator. So ELL, ESL teachers help students that English is their second language. And obviously, teaching in China, we're going to have a lot of students who English is their second language. And I coordinate the program, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I often get asked to teach things as well. So, for example, this year I teach a 30-minute pre-K discovery class on Fridays. So delightful, so delightful. Today we talked about predicting, and I made them. we flew. Flying's not the right word. The physics teacher corrected me. Projectiles. We thrust projectiles off straws. Yeah. So fun, so fun. I also, I support 4th and 5th grade English classes, to improve their reading and writing skills. But I'm not the main teacher there. I am the main teacher in 8th grade chemistry. I know, right? But that's been fun. It was a little stressful because I don't know if you've been here a while. 2 years ago, I had to teach 6th and 7th grade chemistry, like all of them, 6 different groups. That was something. Last year I had to teach 1st grade math and science. That was also something. But this year I'm only teaching one group, so 3 classes a week. But it's a little stressful because I had to do kinetic molecular gas law theory. And I didn't have to do that when I taught 6th and 7th grade. So it was new, or renewing my information that I may have learned in college. But anyway, we're not here for chemistry, are we? Speaking of 1st grade, I'm also supporting the drama teacher who's teaching my little babies from last year in 2nd grade. So that's fun. And anything else? I don't know, maybe that's about it. That's enough on top of my other duties as an ELL coordinator. But I got called into the principal's office. Yeah. This has been, over a month ago. I got called into the principal's office. We don't call them principals here, the head of schools. So yeah, and I guess this is a big announcement. I'm going to be the vice head of middle school next year. What? I have never aspired to be an administrator, ever. Not something I wanted to do, but I got asked to do it, which is the vice principal, if you're not familiar with private school terminology. But yeah. They explained to me that I'm already doing the job, in that I support teachers in developing their curriculum and interacting with students and the needs there. And I also support students that have academic needs. So I'm already doing the job, so I might as well get the title. So yeah, crazy, right? Anyway, so that's next year. But I got a lot going on this year. And, but there's only 5 weeks of school left. Yes, it's Friday at the moment. I just got home from work about a half hour ago. And I decided, you know, hey, let's film a video because I have finally finished a book this month. Like 5 minutes ago. 6 minutes ago. I'm looking at the time right now. Just before I started filming this, I finally finished the first book. It was book Naturalists from last month. I am behind. So yeah. So my reading has plummeted. Like, this is January, February, March. So like 10, 7, and 12. I was on a reading high. It was going so like gangbusters. And I thought, oh, I'm going to get back to averaging double digits this year. But I don't know. I don't know what happened. But, you know, I think, you know, summer, maybe I'll get my act together and we'll get it going. So anyway, just finished our April pick for Book Naturalists, which was Fathoms, The World in the Whale by Rebecca Giggs, an Australian author. And this year for Book Naturalists, Heidi from My Reading Life, we are revisiting books that we read prior to Book Naturalists. So nature writing that we loved prior to Book Naturalists starting, which was, this is our 5th year. Crazy. So in January, we read World of Wonders by Amy Nzugma-Tuttle. These are short essays on nature, and Amy Nzugma-Tuttle is a creative writing instructor in Mississippi, a university there, and she's a poet. That's her first love with writing, and this is just gorgeous. So this was our first ever Book Naturalist pick, and I thoroughly enjoyed the reread. Spillover by David Quammen. This is about zoonotic diseases, and I just love this book. I can't explain why. I was thinking on the walk home, it's kind of like, what's the word? It just escaped me. True crime. It's like true crime for me, except you don't have to feel like guilty for being absorbed, because like there aren't really real criminals. It's just nature. And I also love the scientists and the pursuit, the drive to know why and to help find cures. I just get off on that. So I love that. The Forest Unseen, A Year's Watch in Nature by David George Haskell was our March pick for my birthday. This is my just favorite nature writing author. His words are just so like a balm for my soul. He just is so, he's just really rich in thematic writing and seeing truths in the world, and talking about the important things, but just in such a beautiful way. I love his writing, all of his books. This was no exception. So yeah, Fathoms, I didn't enjoy it. I was listening to it on audiobook this time. I think I read it in you know, with my eyeballs the first time, and really enjoyed it the first time. It's just really rich in information and the concerns in the world today with global warming and the way humans are treating the planet. So it's a great book. Great book. It's an important read. Don't let me like de-emphasize that. It's an important read. I'm glad it's out in the world, but I don't think I needed to read it twice. It's just unrelenting in its negativity about human beings and about the trauma that the natural world is going through, which are both accurate statements, but it was just hard on me. Hard on me the second time around. So, and I already knew the information. I already feel this way and understand. So, does that make sense? Anyway, it is a very important read. If you have not read it, I do still recommend it. So yeah, next up is Sea People. Very excited to see how I feel about that one the second time around. This one's by Christina Thompson. It's In Search of the Ancient Navigators of the Pacific. And if you like history nonfiction, this might work for you because there's some of that in there. So that's my book, Naturalists, the books I've read so far this month, which is one book. But there's still hope. There's still hope. What do we talk about next? What did I read in April, since I haven't, spoken to you? Let's see. I read The Sound of the Sea by Cynthia Barnett, Seashells and the Fate of the Oceans. I freaking adored this book. I picked this up at a used bookstore last summer because Heidi, again, from my reading life, she had read it and I was like, whoa. I'm a Florida girl. I was born and raised in Florida. My father was a commercial fisherman. Like, I distinctly remember 2 years of my life, I lived literally across the street from the ocean, the Gulf of Mexico. Let's be clear, the Gulf of Mexico. And my brother and I just had free range in the summer. This is, back in the, late 70s, early 80s, when children were still allowed to roam. And beachcombing, looking for shark teeth. My brother was so good at that. I think I didn't have glasses yet, so we didn't know that I couldn't see very well, but oh gosh. So this book really spoke to me. Each chapter is it's the kind of nonfiction I just really love, where she weaves in different bits of information, history, science, nature, vignettes, gorgeous, about different shells, but different aspects of the ocean and shell life mixed in with that. If you love nature, if you love the oceans, this is a good one. And then Leigh Bardugo's The Familiar. Thoroughly enjoyed this. Very entertaining for me. Here's the back. I can't do it justice at the moment, but if you're at all interested, I really enjoyed it. And I also read, okay, I finally succumbed to the FOMO and I read Fourth Wing. And it is so engrossing. The dragons, the school, couldn't put it down. Listen to it on audio. So good, so immersive. But holy Hannah, is that girl horny. I have never in my life. Like, I would say that all she thinks about is sex. She's 18 years old and lusting after a 20-year-old. And they go to school together. Bless. I'm just going to move on from that. I read another romance, Always Remember, by Mary Balough, I think her name is. Balogh. And that was the polar opposite. Regency romance, very gentle. There was one random sex scene at the end that just was jarring because it didn't fit in with the rest of the book. It was like, okay, this is an adult Regency romance. We need to have a sex scene. But the rest of the book, oh, so sweet. So this is Heidi and I video, apparently. I read it with Heidi and Katie, and I think that we're going to read the other two. Well, the other three. There are two before and one after so far in the series. So we're gonna continue with the series. But speaking of romance, I have a book haul. So I, living in China, don't have access to any English language bookstores unless I travel. And I thought, I'm done with traveling, so there'll be no more book hauls. But my co-worker, my book club co-host, we had a book club at school this year. I was visiting with her, and she gave me a book she'd finished. Yeah. Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I'm so excited to get started on this. I think we're going to start this any day now, Heidi and Katie and I. So fun times ahead. And I also found, we had a giveaway cart, book swap with my co-host. Her club, her after school club hosted this book swap. And I found this, Rivertown, 2 Years on the Yangtze by Peter Hessler. So I think this one's going to be good. It's nonfiction, I think, about China, and always wanting to read more China books these days. So there's also a pseudo haul. I started a little free library, or I updated it. I made it, cute, but for our staff. And my desk mate put Moby Dick on the shelf, and I did take it off because I thought, how cool would it be to read Moby Dick whilst reading Fathoms, the aforementioned Fathoms, but that didn't happen, obviously. And now I'm wondering if the moment has passed, if I might put Moby Dick back in the little free library, because yeah, I'm all wailed out at the moment. So let me know what you think about that. So what am I going to say now? So my shelf, my TBR shelf, which is right over here, maybe I'll add a little clip to the end of this. I counted just before filming, and there are 39 books still on the shelf. And I'm going on summer vacation in 5 weeks. And I'm just not getting them read. Because I'm not reading. I'm reading, but just a little bit. Just a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. 39 on that shelf. And I wanted to read it down. I'd like to get it down to 25. I don't know if I can do that in 5 weeks. But it's actually 40 because I'm currently reading Enlightenment by Sarah Perry and enjoying it. This is fiction. It's a slow read. I'm reading it slowly. It's kind of one. I love Sarah Perry's writing. She wrote Melmoth and Essex Serpent, both of which I really enjoyed. She's kind of a cilantro author. You like her or you don't. I happen to. She's, again, also very rich thematic writing, beautiful writing. And I think I read her stuff kind of like mystery lovers read mysteries, which I don't read many mysteries. They don't do it for me very often, but I love reading her stuff and as a mystery to be solved, what are her themes and how is she building up to them and writing about them. I really get off on that in her writing. So she also often writes about just a very, very light touch, I think, but on religious themes. So, this one is going there. Um, Two people, older man and a girl that he's known since her infancy, and they have a close relationship. But the man is gay, and the girl kind of finds out about that as she's becoming a teenager and her first young love, and they're both kind of processing through their church thoughts. They come from a very conservative, fundamental, tiny church, and they're both looking at each other kind of like, oh, you're being naughty. Oh, you go against all of our beliefs. But you mean so much to me. What do we think about this? So, yeah, I love her writing. I do. What else? I just finished The Fathoms. I'm also reading with my 4th grade class. They're reading a very delightful middle grade novel about the suffrage movement. I don't remember the title at the moment, but maybe I'll share that later on. But that is fun. We're just reading a chapter a day, so maybe we'll finish next week or the week after. And I started this like months ago. The Missing Thread, A Woman's History of the Ancient World by Daisy Dunn. I wanted to love this, but alas, I do not. It's a great premise, and it's not bad. It's a good information, like especially if you're interested in ancient history. Highly recommend. But it's kind of just little bits and pieces that she's piecing together about women in history in the ancient world, which, there's not a lot recorded. But it's so disjointed here that there's not a thread pulling me through, if that makes sense. But I don't dislike it. Like I somewhat enjoy it. I enjoy it, but I'm just not, and I'm learning from it, but it's not like I'm not retaining a lot because it's so here and there, and it's not compulsive or propulsive. There's nothing pulling me through. So goodness, but I just want to be finished with things, I'm also still reading George, Washington of Life by Ron Chernow, which is really good. But again, like none of these books are, finishing in a hurry kind of books. So maybe I just need to pick up another book. One of those romances. Let's do it. Let's do the thing. So, am I done? I think I am. All I have to share is my bingo board from hell, which I can't remember if I updated with April books. I think I did. I'll have to go back and double check. But this is kind of why my physical TBR being at 42 is a problem. I need to get it read down because one of my bingo spots is 30 summer 2025 books, like reading 30 of them, which implies that I purchased 30, which, I want to purchase 30. I want to enjoy buying books and visiting really good bookstores as I travel this summer. We're going to Yellowstone, Montana. I take my son to see, we're trying to see all 50 states. So we're on 34, 35. So this summer we're going to Yellowstone and Montana and Wyoming and Iowa, kind of hitting all 3 of those briefly-ish, some more than others. And Canada, my boyfriend Brent is Canadian, so we'll be visiting his family in Canada, and then my sister in North Carolina and my family in Florida. So also gonna spend a week in Vietnam before we go, which I don't think there'll be any English language bookstores involved in that trip. We've been 4 or 5 times already. Brent taught there 6 years, so we go to Vietnam a lot to visit his friends there. But anyway, a lot of book shopping, so I need to get some books read between now and June 13th when school is out. And I think we're traveling June 15th. So June 15th, see what we can get read. I will check in again at some point between now and then. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but we'll see. We'll see. I do feel caught up at work. I had really productive 2 days, so maybe we're turning the corner. So anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon-ish. Bye.